all the humanoid robots that you see on films and television are frankly all women with big boobs. So, of course that's going to create these sort of stereotypes for girls and women, and they just don't think there's a place for them in tech. Well, I started Text You Can because of all my own experiences and the experiences that I'd seen other women around me have. So, after working in companies like Accenture and PwC, it becomes very obvious that the majority of the workforce is white men. And this isn't anything, there's nothing wrong with white men, but if you want the world to work for everyone, you need women to be equal in creating that world, in creating all the new products and the services and the businesses, and in how society use technology. And at the moment, the technology workforce doesn't reflect diversity in the population. And therefore, you're going to get bias for women and minority groups. And you're bound to get things like stereotyping, where women don't see a place for them in the workplace. I mean, it's not just about women, it's about improving diversity overall. If organizations were better at attracting and retaining diverse groups and women and advancing them into leadership positions, which is a very important thing because only 1 in 4 tech workers are women, and that drops to 1 in 10 at a leadership level. If you had more women and you were advancing them into leadership positions, you'd just have a much better culture, you'd have better products and services, and they're more likely to appeal to all of your customers. And I think the challenge is really twofold. So not only are organizations wrestling with the challenge of recruiting and retaining tech skills that they need to deliver their growth ambitions, they're also missing out on the productivity gains from just increasing the overall digital literacy of the workforce overall. So I think, just having more women involved, not just women, it's about Black people, about Asian people, it's about all diversity. You're going to just create much better outcomes for your company and for society. I think overall, it's negative stereotypes and perceptions around the tech sector. And we know that girls and young women in particular are being put off by technology by, if you think about the constant negative, AI will destroy us, you've got the cage fighting tech bros and the recent flirty female voice chat GPT. These are all leading to what is really very negative stereotypes and perceptions. So if I give you an example, the latest GPT-4 release, soon after it's released, a lot of people spotted the fact that Sky, which is one of the voice options on ChatGPT and one of the OpenAI, and the one that they picked for their demo, bore a really uncanny resemblance to the voice of Scarlett Johansson. And I mean, it was a surprise to her as well. And it was a very flirty, warm voice. And this may seem like a very small thing on the surface as a design feature, but it's a great example of how stereotypes pervade society. The people that are creating the tech really need to have a responsibility around getting these things right, because they're instant and they go out to a global audience, and all of these things build up. So if girls and women are constantly hearing that, these voices are really flirty and warm, and all the humanoid robots that you see on films and television are frankly all women with big boobs. So of course that's going to create these sort of stereotypes for girls and women, and they just don't think there's a place for them in tech. And you've got loads of other examples, like in healthcare, underrepresented data of women and minority groups. So that skews all the predictive AI algorithms. Things like image generation. You've got bias in generative AI creating images of people in specialized professions. So they do things like, if you're an accountant, or if you're a technologist, or if you're a senior person, they tend to show older white men. So all of these things combine together, and they start to happen very early on. So children as early as 5, there's loads of research out there showing that children as early as 5 are starting to really be influenced by these stereotypes.